Hello again. So I'm gonna do a quick Facebook Live from my car. I just got done talking with somebody, and I feel really good. I have some good energy, so I'd like to share something. I've been promising to make a video on manifesting money. So I would really like to entertain some questions in regard to how to manifest money. And then I'd also like to talk in martial arts. When they give examples, they often talk about what to avoid, perhaps, or what are some things maybe to think about in terms of how you're doing something. So we'll talk about how to manifest money. I'll give you examples of the ways that I have manifested money, and even in terms of business and in terms of personal life. So I want to give real examples of how to manifest money. But then I want to talk about some common mistakes. Like, what are some things that people are doing that they may need to revisit the principles? They may need to revisit the blueprint. So after a lot of requests, I'm finally going to start talking about this subject. So if anybody remembers, when I first joined the Abraham Hicks Vortex Group site, I have this thing that I do, okay? I learned how to speed read. You can learn this program. It's called IQ, and you can look it up. And what you do is you learn to read groups of words rather than individual words. So you start to read groups of sentences and paragraphs eventually, and you cut out all of the little words that you don't really need, like and the and is and of. So I learned to speed read, and that includes scanning. When I first visited the Abraham Hicks Vortex Group, I scanned and I saw the word money so many times, and I didn't feel good about that. So I made some posts. I talked about money, and this group really changed my mind on a lot of different things. First of all, the way that I was scanning, I was looking for particular things. I scanned again and I saw the word love. I saw the word peace. I saw the word joy many times from this group. So first of all, I just want to apologize. You know, I feel like in some ways that was all just a reflection of how I feel about things and how I feel about most of the groups that I've talked with, and most of the groups and most of the people that I've talked with. So with that in mind, let's just jump right in it. So if you watch any of the Abraham question and answers, any of the seminars with Esther Hicks, you will notice that whenever anybody ever asks about how to manifest money, they first reiterate the fact that it's the same as manifesting everything else. But if you have a huge block, if you have, and I shouldn't use the word block, because the energy is never blocked. The intention is never blocked. It's just kind of plugged. So that's not a good word to use. If you were blocked off from source, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? So we're never blocked off from source, but we do get these, I don't know if anybody else can tune in. Can you guys hear me okay? I don't know. It's not noisy in here, so I don't really know. But if somebody else could let me know, I would appreciate it. If you're able to hear me, I don't know why you wouldn't be. The setup's the same. Ah, good. So Danielle, it might be your phone. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Thanks for tuning in anyway, though. Okay, so we're going to talk about manifesting money, and I'm going to give some examples of how I specifically how I did it in terms of both my personal life and running the restaurant and running some of the other businesses that I've been involved in. First of all, I am the CEO of a successful and profitable company. So, you know, I don't want to make it sound like I'm you know, a millionaire or a multimillionaire. That's not the case. But I do have a clear understanding of these principles, and I do have money. You know, I always have what I need. Everything is always working out for me. And I just want to explain a little bit how the process has worked for me and how I understand these things. So manifesting money, again, is just like manifesting anything else. It's the same blueprint. The same basic process for manifesting money will be the same basic process for manifesting anything. Right? So The biggest difference is, however, is that most people have a huge resistance in their mind about how difficult it is to make money. And this is why Abraham, in their talks, they explain that there's so much money, like the universe is so abundant, like why can't you get some of that? You know, you just need 0.005% to be a multimillionaire of all the money that's in at least the United States. I'm sorry, I don't know everything nationally or globally. I don't know what the you know, how that transfers everywhere, but there is enough. There's more than enough to go around. So most people, first of all, have that. They have this idea that, you know, it's really difficult to make money, or it's, you know, they start to go into these words that are not power words. They're not power thinking. So that's one of the things that has to change in the beginning. And it changed it never really changed for me, because I never really had those thoughts. So that's not something I ever really entertained. So whenever I have needed money, specifically needed money, there are a few things that I did. So number one, whenever I have needed either a large amount of money or a moderate amount of money, it was something that I approached in a very relaxed way, because I approach everything in a very relaxed way. I teach the way of no way, the water course way. If anybody's familiar with Bruce Lee, I'm a lot like that. I take things that work and I throw away what doesn't. And I follow the physical principles of the universe. So if you are having this idea in your mind, first of all, that money is something that is difficult to attain, that's a type of thinking that you maybe need to go back to the very beginning. You maybe need to go back to the very basics of how we use law of attraction. If you have this resistance to money, that's something that you're going to need to find a way to dissolve. And of course, I know how to do that. I know how to dissolve these worries in a very relaxed way. The way that I did it, of course, was through inner peace. So if I have money, that's my desire. If I don't have money, I still have my most ultimate, highest desire. And that's this life. That's this peace. So do you see how I can really desire something? I can find the feeling through visualization, but I don't have the worry energy. So a lot of times when people say, oh, I need money, there's a lot of worry energy associated with that. So they start visualizing having money. And really what they're doing is focusing on lack. You're focusing on what you don't have. And that will always perpetuate more don't have. Right? That makes a lot of sense. And we've all been told this, but it's so hard unless you have peace. I don't know every way. You know, I'm just Ernest. I'm just one guy. There are many different ways to do things. There's no one way. There's no wrong way. But I know a way, you know, and I know a way that works. I've seen it work for other people. It's working for me. It's working for the people that I'm working with and that I've been working with for years and years. I see it working. I see it demonstrably happening. And for me, the key is always inner peace. Because I can have a very strong desire, but I can also detach myself from that desire. And when I detach myself, I don't worry. There's no worry involved, because I always have this base. And I call it, you know, the set point, my most solid base from which everything else is built from. I have found that when you don't have a strong base, the higher you go, your building will fall over. And that's a metaphor for something that can be very applicable to how we proceed through life. So we want to build a very strong base. My base is inner peace. Hi. Yeah, I know I'm just blowing up the airwaves, but to be fair, everything I'm doing in this group is 100% applicable to law of attraction. So I'm just being very vocal because this is what my 90 days is about. At the beginning of the year, I made the New Year's resolution to put myself out there, make myself available, and help as many people as I can. I don't know how long that will continue, but we'll see. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate you being here. So how did I do it? And how do I always manifest exactly what I need when I need it? Either for my restaurant and my business or even in my personal life. How do I do it? What is the trick? And it's something that I don't hear a lot of, but it is absolutely the focal point of the teachings of Abraham, is What is checking in? Why do we check in? It's a form of mindfulness. We start to come into our experience. We live in the present moment. This is why people love Eckhart Tolle, and they love reading Buddha, and they love reading these things in conjunction with Law of Attraction and Abraham Hicks. The reason is because they're all the same principles of the universe, right? It's all the same principles, so we're all just talking about the same thing in different ways. I work with the blueprint. The blueprint are principles, laws of how the universe changes. And we just need to change with it. We need to adapt with it. We need to work with it. There are no secrets. So if somebody is telling you that there's this super secret, secrets don't make friends. And it reminds me of SpongeBob SquarePants. And I can't say it exactly, but he said, you know, the most wonderful thing about having a secret is keeping the secret secretly, but not. Anyway, he says the word secret like 30 times, and it's hilarious. But there are no secrets, but there are blueprints. There are ways that these things work, and we just need to work with them. And it's really, really unique to you, just as it's unique to me. So for me, the number one principle, the thing that I have always desired most, ever since I was a small child, and everybody who knows me, Shayna that's in this group, you know, Lyle that's in this group, and, you know, I was doing Facebook Lives on my own page, they know Ernest, and they know that if you think of one word and associated with Ernest, hopefully it's not asshole or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure it would be peace. Because I am a very peaceful person, and having these Facebook Lives is a real way for me to, you know, give some of that energy, you know, that I have building up sometimes, because I want to share. I want to help so badly. Like I really want everybody to feel how I feel. So that's why I'm sharing. And I'm telling you that the way to manifest money that I know is to first build a baseline of inner peace. If you have inner peace, you have completion all the time. You have relaxation and joy and pleasure in the experience of life all the time. Nobody can take that away. Nobody can buy that for you. You cannot purchase peace. You cannot purchase inner peace. But from inner peace, you can manifest whatever the hell you want. So a little bit of a story. There was a phase when I was listening to Eckhart Tolle and I was studying Buddhism. I'm not Buddhist, by the way, but I was studying Buddhism. I was studying philosophy of the Tao, and I felt stuck. I just didn't want to do anything. I was just like, oh, I love the moment. What's better than the moment? And I lost a lot of desire to do anything. And I was speaking with a Kung Fu teacher. He's based out of Boston, and he's won gold medals for the U.S. team. And he is an amazing Kung Fu practitioner. He does the same. He does a wushu type of praying mantis, and I do more of a practical application, northern style praying mantis. But we're still talking about, you know, virtually the same thing. So when I'm talking to this teacher, I'm explaining this, and I'm like, man, I don't feel like doing anything, because, you know, I'm following the Tao, and I'm following the way, and, you know, I'm just existing, and you know, I see Eckhart Tolle, and he's just got this terrible posture, but he seems really joyful. And I see all of the Buddhists and some of the most famous philosophers of our time, Dalai Lama, and some of the others. You know, I see what they're doing, but I don't feel that. You know, I don't feel like sharing. I don't feel like doing anything. And he looked at me and he said, what are you talking about? It's because you're not attached that you can do whatever you want. It's because you're not attached you can have as much money as you want. It's because you're not attached that you can go through this life creating however the way you want to. I follow principles, and one of those is to do no harm. So I will not do anything that has the intention to hurt another person. I won't do that. That's my principle. Take it or leave it. I'm not prescribing that behavior. That's just something about Ernest. So I got this baseline of peace, and I learned from this great teacher that from this peace, from this non-attachment, from this high vibrating energetic state that I'm generating through momentum, I have choice. And I'll go back to this. You know, the people that are listening to me and they're joining my Facebook Lives, they're going to start to see a theme, right? They're going to start to see things in a very particular way, because I offer them in a very particular way. I don't change my shit up. You know, it's the principles. I don't have a copyright to the principles. There's no trademark to the law of attraction. It is the way it is. You know, we can't escape it. So I built a baseline from peace. And, you know, this teacher taught me that love your life. Do whatever the fuck you want. Like, if you want to run a marathon, run a marathon. If you want to climb Everest, climb Everest. If you want to be a billionaire for whatever reason, be a billionaire. Do it because you're not attached. So I can have, let's just pretend this is money. This is just a cup, and I got it from this place, Coffee on the Rocks. Maybe later I can show them the video and try to get some free advertising money, or some advertising from them. So let's say that this cup represents money, or represents attachment. So most people, when they're holding their cup, they're doing it in a very tense way. You know, they're using a lot of force. They're using a lot of muscular, oh, I gotta get money, I gotta get a, you know, I gotta get this soulmate or this twin flame, and I'm gonna use as much force as I can to, and now let somebody try to take it away. Oh no, you can't have my cup. And my cup represents whatever I'm attached to. So what I have learned to do is I've learned to relax. I'm not gonna let go of the cup because I'm not a Buddhist monk. You know, I'm not trying to get out of the illusion of self. I'm trying to make love to the illusion of self. I know it's an illusion. I know that this cup is not really a cup. If we take away the mind identification or the attachment of what it is, it loses all value. If there's no human being to give it value, it doesn't hold any value anymore. It gets a little bit deep, and it might seem like talking in circles, but you don't have to trust me. So what I have done is I have learned to relax. I have learned to hold the cup, but not cling to it. You know, you want to take it? Yeah, go ahead. You can have it. I'll find another cup. They're everywhere. Do you see the difference? So when I talk about non-attachment, it's really relaxing. It's relaxing your attachment. It's relaxing your grip. When you learn to relax, oh, life is just so easy. And I remember when somebody told me this, they said, the martial art that I was learning, they said it was easy. You know, once you just learn to let go, you know, once you learn to just accept what is, because if you don't accept what is, how can you change it? You don't know what you're changing if you haven't accepted what is, if you haven't surrendered to the presence of the moment. And so, you know, from that, I have learned these very specific techniques, and one is relaxing. I relaxed my grip. I'm not clinging so tightly. And the same is with money. And that's why I'm able to manifest like a maniac, because I set my intention, right? And I visualize it to create the feeling. I imagine myself as if I was already there, and then I go about my day free from any type of encumbering thought, free from any type of encumbering energy. And then you know what? The shit just starts coming in. And I'm like, oh, thanks. It happens. This is the way that it happens. But without that anchor, without that peace, I'm really not sure how to do it. Maybe somebody else can give a really great Facebook Live on how to achieve the manifestations, the really powerful manifestations that normally people feel a little bit of resistance. And I do my finger because it's a bend in energy, just like in martial arts when we talk about chi. Any type of sickness is because there's a blockage, or and I say blockage, but it's more like a heart blockage. It's not blocked 100%, but you know, 99.9% is enough, or 80% is enough to cause, you know, the heart failure. So in my martial art, we move our energy with our minds. We move our chi, we move our prana, we keep it flowing, because the blockages, you know, the energy that's flowing down through my arm, if there's resistance, it's going to get tense and it's going to start to hurt. So I've learned to work with my energy so that I'm always loose and I'm always relaxed. These are physical examples of the principles that we're using in terms of law of attraction. So there's all kinds of ways that you'll find these principles in the world, because it's the way that the universe works. No kidding. Like, of course we're going to see it everywhere we go. So to recapitulate, I have found a way to manifest through peace, through relaxation, through effortlessness. So what are some examples? First of all, growing up, I never had money. My parents, they went in and out of money. You know, they had a lot of money, and then, you know, it all went down for them. And, you know, so I was caught up in that because I relied on my parents. So from that came a lot of stress and anxiety in regards to money. And the weird thing that I have always been able to do is when I identify a feeling I don't like, I eliminate it from my experience in a very relaxed way. So basically, I would get a very terrible feeling whenever I would think about the lack of money. And because of that terrible feeling, I was like, I know how to not feel this. I just don't perpetuate the thought. I know that everything is just dealing directly with the stream of our thought, the momentum of the perpetual talking in our minds. Of course, this isn't new stuff. This is Eckhart Tolle. This is Buddha. This is, even Jesus said, why worry about tomorrow when today has its own stresses or its own situations or its own anxieties? Anxieties is the wrong word. It was translated incorrectly. Interestingly, I've also read the Bible and I've studied religion very, very intently. So I'm also able to connect on that point with a lot of people. So the thing that we need to think about is manifesting through a place of relaxation, manifesting through a place of peace. And because I didn't like this feeling as a young man, I was able to eliminate any anxiety related with money. And you know what? All of the desires I had just started flowing in. Once I dropped that resistance, any way you do it, especially if you can do it over a long period of time, everything just starts happening. You start knowing that the universe is working with you instead of just believing or thinking of it. It becomes less of this abstract thing that we read in a book, and it becomes the embodiment of our life experience. And we can start to perpetuate that, and we can start to build from that. And it's all about momentum. It is all about momentum. It's the principle of accumulated skill. It's the principle of momentum. And I can't stress it enough. So we want to build momentum. We want to do it in a relaxed way. And the only way I've been able to do that, the only way I've been able to share that is through peace. Mindfulness, meditation, relaxing techniques. These are all the things that I worked with to manifest the life of my dreams, and I'm living it like every single day, every single moment. The people who know me know that Ernest is tuned in, that he is going to accomplish whatever it is that he wants to accomplish. Whatever it is on his mind will happen. So some examples, now obviously I don't really worry too much about money. I don't worry about the invisible hand. I don't think about money really at all. I just always seem to have it. It always seems to come at just the right time. And it's because I don't have that worry energy. Do you see the connection? If you're focusing on lack, it creates worry. And the focusing on lack is perpetual stream of dialogue. I don't have, I need. That's not setting your intention anymore. Once you've set your intention on the desire and you've visualized how it feels and you've found the feeling, just find that feeling as often as possible, but in a very relaxed way. So I'll give you an example of when I was running the restaurant. And somebody told me one time that money is a mindset, and I was at a very different vibrational or level of momentum. I was operating from somewhere different. And when she told me that money was a mindset, I said, that's shit. Like, that's bullshit. Like, I have a bank account. Like, if it gets to zero, what's my mindset? Like, I can't make purchases if it gets to zero. So can you please explain? So Lyle is working at the restaurant while listening, but it's not my restaurant. I'm no longer a part of it. So Lyle, I'm not telling, at least. I don't encourage your behavior, but Lyle can be a fact checker for us, right? So he can tell you whether what I'm saying is true or untrue. So there have been times at the restaurant where our bank account was getting very low. We were new at running business and we made some mistakes. And good Lord, like, you never make those mistakes twice. So a lot of it had to do with accounting and taxes and some of the things that we were unfamiliar with running a business. And it got really low. It got really, really low. But both me and my partner, who's my martial arts teacher, and he's the one that's helped me develop peace the most. Lyle works with him every day. Lyle can make a lot more money working somewhere else, but he knows that he's gaining something else of value by working in that restaurant with this teacher, with this master of peace. So it's from working with him, we were both vibrating on a very similar frequency when it came to How are we going to raise our bank account? How are we going to find the money to make payroll? How are we going to pay our distributors? There's a lot going into that. Of course, some of the perpetuating bills, the reoccurring bills, we could throw on a credit card or something, but you can't throw payroll on a credit card. You can't. I don't know how to do that. The payroll comes from a bank account, and the bank account was really low, and you know, to some extent, my initial reaction was to panic a little bit, but that was at a time that I had my teacher, and he tapped me on the shoulder and he said, "Ernest, relax. It's going to be okay. It's always okay for us. When we need a perfect employee, they walk in. You know, when we get low staffed, people just start sending in applications." It would be very and Lyle can attest to this. Every time we've needed somebody, the right person has walked through the door, or the right Band-Aid, you know, the person we needed at that moment. And I tell people, like, you know, sometimes when things are the way that they are, you know, when you know, the fluctuation of the workforce is doing its thing, sometimes you need a Band-Aid. You need somebody to get you through. And we had that. So everybody that works at that restaurant long term has developed more peace than when they began, because we have created a work environment based on law of attraction. But my teacher won't call it law of attraction because he's Chinese, and these principles are how the universe works. And he'll use a bunch of different words without ever saying vortex, without ever saying law of attraction, without ever saying manifesting. But it's all talking about the same thing. So through peace, we just relaxed and we said, you know what? We have each other. We'll still be friends. You know, if the business goes out of business, which isn't what we want, we don't think that's going to happen. We always have the air in our lungs. We always have our bodies. We always have our minds. We always have that. So really, what is there to worry about? Now, we weren't setting our vibrational intention low. We were just using our minds in a way that allowed us to relax. Everything, if coming from a relaxed state of mind, a relaxed being, will have more success. And you can ask Shayna, and well, Lyle might not know because he wasn't ever involved in bills and stuff like that, but you can ask Shayna. She will tell you, we started getting checks in the mail. We got a check in the mail when our account was at its lowest from the power company, because some rebate happened that we never got credited for, and we ended up with like a $2,000 check. I can't remember exactly how much it was. But then one of the restaurants next door closed, and I gave a Facebook Live about this in the moment. And, you know, Lyle can attest to that. Buffalo Wild Wings right next door to us just closed, and I didn't know it was going to. And we were really slow, and that really got things going again. You know, it got the money coming in. Isn't that interesting how that starts to work? So basically what I'm saying is that accepting that baseline of peace, saying that, you know, I always have the air, you know, I always have my body, there's no reason to worry. That's not setting a low energetic point. So it's not saying that I'm going to accept failure. You know, that's not it. But what I'm saying is that using these principles allow you to relax. You know, saying that I always have this body, you know, I always have my friends, and everything is going to work out for me, guys. We can do it. Just relax. But setting a vibrationally low point would be saying that, you know, I might fail, and you know, I'm going to accept my failure. If you're using words like accept failure, then you're not really setting your intention on accept success. Those two have a very, very hard time mingling for most people. Again, with peace, all things are possible. Right, from hope, not fear. So I'm not afraid that it's not going to work out. But at the same time, I can love, I can smile. And it is about trust, and it's a type of trust. And if you go to my website, I did one of my very first Facebook Lives on trust is back to back. What trust really means to me, and how it was explained by my teacher. It's not blind trust. It's not me follow you or you follow me. It's we're back to back. We're going to work together. In a battle type situation, you have my 180 degrees that I can't see. I have your 180 degrees that you can't see, and you don't worry about the stuff you can't see because I've got your back. I don't worry about the stuff that I can't see because I know you got my back. That's trust. If I'm just saying, come, follow me, that's not quite trust. You know, that's starting to get into something else, and I don't want to elaborate on that so I don't lose the point. But yes, it's coming from a secure place. We come from a secure place, and what is more secure than inner peace? Inner peace at one point was the most sought after thing. It was number one. Everybody wanted inner peace. Because they knew that from inner peace you could manifest everything. Einstein knew that from inner peace all of his thought experiments would come to him. He wasn't like thinking about thought experiments. He would be in a place of relaxation, in a place of calm, and then all of a sudden he would see a train go by and he would be like, that speed is relative. That's interesting. And then it comes to him, right? So he wasn't using force. And a lot of people, they want to use force to attract what they want, especially when it comes to money, because it's such a popular subject. So what we did at the restaurant was we found this baseline of relaxation. And that's something that I teach people now, is relaxation. I practice the art of relaxation and getting out of my own way. And I can teach this. This is something teachable. This is a skill that you can learn and work with. And you can follow the accumulation principle. I can teach principles. And I can teach principles in a way that you will learn to use it in your own unique life situation. The way of no way. We just follow the blueprint. We follow the patterns that the universe has given us to work with. And we work with the universe rather than against it. And that's what I can teach. That's the things that I can teach. And that's all available. But that's not really my focus. So what I'm talking about now is operating from a very relaxed point. And we were so relaxed at the restaurant. My teacher and I were just playing, we're still friends, and we don't, so how's the account today? How's that big check come in? And it all worked out. Our bank account skyrocketed. We ended up with like maybe 3 times the amount of money that we had when we were in that low point. The restaurant right next door closed. Ask and it is given. We needed money and a check came in right away. Ask and it is given. There were a couple other things that just came in at just the right time and in just the right way that it all worked out in the end. It worked out perfectly and beautifully because we weren't worried about money. Shayna has gotten promotion after promotion, or in terms of monetary. She's working, maybe I shouldn't say exactly where she works and stuff like that, but she's worked up the corporate ladder. She started out working in a warehouse, working the shift that nobody wanted to work. And after 17 years now, yeah, my son's a senior in high school, if you can believe that. But over that time, she's gone from that to a very, very nice salary. And she's done it through applying law of attraction. She's done it, the jobs just come in, the positions just come in, because she also operates from a place usually of relaxation and peace. Quite frankly, everybody who is around me has learned to operate this way if they're in direct contact with me. Everybody at the restaurant, they're really learning without ever talking about it. Do you understand how that works? Do you understand how somebody can be taught something and they can learn something without ever using those words? We don't ever say law of attraction. We don't ever say the word peace. We just do it and we embody it and we inspire. We inspire to motivate. So I really appreciate these comments coming in, and I'm definitely going to go back to them and check them out. But the universe is the most powerful force, so the universe, the most powerful force is working on it. That's you. You are that most powerful force. You are the you are. I am the I am. The totality of the human being is the totality of all. Everything that there is, everything, synthesis, the encapsulation, the totality of everything, of all form, is contained within us, and we are it. But then again, we have our relative life. We have this relative life situation, and that's what we're starting to work with now. So all of those checks came in and we were making money. The restaurant's right back on track. The restaurant's making money. Most new businesses don't make money until sometime after they begin. It's usually a 5-year rule. I'm able to back out. I was able to go follow my personal legend and perpetually travel because that's something that I've really wanted to do even without knowing it since I was a little kid. And I'm going to do some talks about that, about how my grandparents inspired me. And now it's being given before I can even ask. And that's some weird shit that I'm not even sure how to really talk about, because I'm being given things that I didn't even know I needed. And yes, that's Ram Dass. I noticed that right away. The best thing you can do in life is to work on yourself in the presence of others. Ram Dass. And Lyle is absolutely correct. So we I worked on myself in the presence of Lyle. I worked on myself in the presence of Shayna. I worked on myself in the presence of Sierra and everybody who works at the restaurant. And they're all going to come out better in the end. And I know it. I see it. I see their maturation spiritually. And it's a really wonderful thing. So we know that we can't focus on lack. We know that we have to build our energy. We know that we have to do it in a relaxed way. We know that we have to build momentum, and we can do it through peace. If you want to learn peace, hit me up. This is what I do. This is what I've been working with. I've been working with meditative techniques for over 20 years. I've had my private teacher now 5-6 years. I don't even really understand what day it is right now. I don't think about those things. I have a really interesting flow in my mind, and I would love to explain that more. But it can be a little bit difficult, I think, for me to communicate. So we have these examples, and I'm constantly making money. I'm constantly, things are coming into me that I've wanted and that I desire in that moment. And that's great, so I do have some personal examples. But one of the interesting things is that, and I'll talk about this as the third part. So the third part is what most people are maybe missing. They maybe need to go back to the beginning and check out some of these initial principles, because there's an energy gap. So the energy needs to flow smoothly. And I'm going to talk about what I call an energy gap. It's a skip in energy. So let's say you want a new car, but you want to manifest money. Let's say you want a new house and you want a great family and you want all of these things, but yet you think about money. Do you see the discord? Do you see how you're focusing on this when this is what you really want? And I'll explain. I'm a martial artist, and I haven't always had money to afford private teaching, one-on-one teaching. That gets really expensive. It's like $100 or $200 a session. So how do I afford that? Do I have the money for something like that? So instead of focusing on money, I focused on the desire. I focused on that I want private lessons. I want the perfect teacher. And then before you know it, Lyle Jackson's introducing me to Ma Long, and he's teaching in the park, and he's this great Tai Chi master. He does Northern style praying mantis, and he's an excellent teacher of peace and relaxation. And then I started working for him and working with him at the restaurant, and I ended up working with him every day, learning from him every day, and I was getting private lessons whenever I wanted. Well, how did... And you can ask Shayna, you can ask Lyle. I always end up with free private lessons. I always end up... So if any teachers are out there watching this, I'm open to private free lessons. So just come contact me. I want to learn more. But I've been given private lessons. I've been given, free class time. I've been given so much for free, so many discounts. Because I'm genuine, because I'm authentic, and I don't hustle people. I just give them the love that I have to give, and I just give them the most authentic, earnest that I can give. And when that happens, it ends up, I just get what I want in a really interesting way. In recapitulation and in hindsight, it's like, that's weird. Like, how did that happen? How did I end up learning, one-on-one in a retreat with David Dorian Ross, one of the first people to bring Tai Chi to the United States? Anytime I want to talk with him, he's extended, his time to me for free. He charges $75 for 30 minutes. And that's just to talk about Tai Chi. Like, you can't talk about, well, you could, I suppose, but that's a lot of money. $75 for 30 minutes is a fair wage. I don't have to pay that. I never have to pay that. He loves me. He's my friend. We talk. But I still get this information from the mind of a really high level master. There's another brother who is teaching in Florida, and he said, Ernest, come on down. I know you're serious. I know you're a very serious practitioner and teacher. Come stay with me for a month or two. I have space. I don't need money. Like, do you see that? Like, there's been lots of examples that you've even seen here in the Law of Attraction group, in the Abraham Hicks Vortex group, where they're like, I needed a car and I manifested the car in the weirdest fucking way possible, but it happened. But a lot of people focus on the money. do you really want money, or do you want what you can buy with money? Now, if you just want to see your bank account grow because it makes you happy to see that number, I think that's a very different story. If you want money to help people just by giving it away, like here's money, and that's what I'll do with my money. I'm writing a book. I already have publishers contacting me because they want my book. I know that my book is going to make millions of dollars. It's a foregone conclusion. Hopefully it makes millions of dollars while I'm still alive. The curse of a lot of artists is that they have to die before their art is appreciated, but whatevs. Not a big deal. But this book and the things that I'm doing are going to allow me to just give money away. I'm going to give money to my teacher. I'm going to give money to Sierra. I'm going to give money to Lyle. I'm going to give money to the people that are closest in my life, not just as a handout, but so that they can generate the things that they want to generate. They can work with it in the way that they want to work with it. You know, so I will manifest that money so that I can give it away. And I already am. And it's coming in very quickly through a lot of different avenues. Like I said, being CEO of a company has its perks. You know, money is coming in. It is profitable. So what is the most common mistake? The most common mistake is focusing on something that you don't really want. That's not the real focus. If you're focusing on what you want from the money, then that's a little bit of a different story. Money will just start to come to you because you're not focusing on the lack of money. So I see a lot of people, they say, oh, I want money to afford a cruise. Just focus on the cruise. Everything that is necessary to happen for you to go on that cruise will happen. I can't say it any plainer. Like these principles are so clear, they're so true. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you know, I have a lot of stress, I have a lot of anxiety. Well, that's why you might need some personal one-on-one attention, some personal working together so that we can work on peace. We can work on relaxation. We can practice meditative techniques. We can practice moving meditation, sitting meditation, lying down meditation, embodiment techniques that you take all throughout your day, ways to check in, mindfulness techniques. I can help a person achieve peace because it's already there. I just have to show you where to get there, how to get there, because peace is our underlining state. Peace is the clear blue sky above the stormy clouds, or the calm water below the you know, tumultuous waves. So if anybody wants tips and advice, you know, I offer a free coaching session. That's a way that you can connect with me. If for some reason you're financially strapped, I have a very cheap option to where we can do a phone call because I want to make it available to everybody. But at the same time, my company won't let me give everything away for free. I have chosen the most rock bottom price for coaching. It is dirt ass cheap compared to what other people are charging. And it's not to devalue their services. It's just because it's not really my desire. It's not really my desire to teach law of attraction, teach martial arts for money. You know, that's not the energetic attraction for me. The energetic attraction for me is creating world peace, is being a part of the change that I want to see in the world. It's perpetuating. I can teach people about the blueprint, and then when they work with it, they can teach another person about that blueprint. And then we can create this perpetual stream of teaching, and the world can change. And I know this is true because the change happens from the inside out. So when we're focusing on making money, when we're focusing on manifesting what we desire, we have to make sure that our focus is crystal clear. It needs to be very, very clear. And what do you know? Through practicing martial arts, you know, I have found the impeccable focus that I need to always be present. You know, to do the things with my body internally that I'm doing requires impeccable focus. If I'm thinking about something else, it doesn't work. I can't do it. I have to focus internally. And that's what I'm here to teach. I'm here to teach peace. And through peace, you can manifest money. Through peace, you can manifest a Lamborghini. Through peace, you can manifest the business of your dreams. Through peace, you can manifest the home of your dreams, a partner of your dreams. Everything that you want through peace and through relaxation and through calm and through effortlessness, you can achieve. You don't have to meet force with force. We don't have to do things a more difficult way. We can find the path with the least resistance. And that's what I'm all about. That's what I teach. That's what I offer. Because that's what I have to share. I don't know, if my life situation was different, I would have something else to share. So we have to make sure that we're not making one of the most common mistakes. One of the most common mistakes, and it's just, you need to go back to the beginning. We need to go back to the very beginning of the basics of the teachings, the baseline of the teachings, right? You are part of the one, and in the one all is mine. In a relative sense, we're a part of the one. In an absolute sense, we are the one. And be the change that you want to see. Slowly, in a very relaxed way, I am personally learning how to reduce my waste because I care about my environment. I don't push that belief on anybody else. I care about the way that I eat because these are things that I value. I have the power of choice. It's this power of choice that makes it such a powerful thing. So you just go to my website. If you go to my website, it's just my name.com, ernestkrolick.com, click services, sign up for a session. Easy peasy. So that's how you can do that. And then, we can start getting, really one-on-one and working with things. And the reason I want to do this, 2 months ago, you can ask Shana, you can ask Lyle, you can ask anybody who knows me. I never planned to do any type of coaching. I just wanted to teach martial arts. I did want to do that. I wanted to teach the relaxation techniques to seniors to help them with their breathing. So when they fall, or, to help them with their balance and things like that. I want to help people. But then I started getting involved in different groups, and different people are telling me, Ernest, share, Ernest, share, Ernest, share. And there's only so many times that you can be poked and prodded before you're like, you know what? Maybe I have something to share. I know it now. I know that I have something to offer, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to offer ways to find peace, relaxation, so that you can manifest the entire life that you want, the entire life that you desire. We do it through the accumulation principle of skill. We do it through the momentum principle that Abraham has been teaching us, and we do it from a higher vantage point, a higher, clear perspective of what we want. So that's what we can do. That's what we can work with. So it's really important that we maybe if we have to, go back to the beginning. And I can help you with the beginning. I can help you with the very basics if that's what we need to do. But if your focus is on money, but that's not really what who really wants money? Do you really want money, or do you want the freedom that comes with money? Then again, how do you define freedom? Is your version of freedom travel? Hello, I'm traveling and I'm not spending a lot of my money. I don't want to spend a lot of my money because that's not sustainable. Regardless of how much money I have, if I go around traveling and staying in resorts and using my timeshare, I'm going to end up with almost nothing. And I can't prove to other people, I won't inspire to other people that there's other ways to accomplish what they want. So, you want money to travel because you want to feel free. So already you're stretching your energy too thin. You're stretching your focus very thin. It's like the Lord of the Rings analogy. I feel like butter spread over too much bread. You only have so much butter, but you're trying to spread it over a very big piece of bread. And I really hope that this resonates, because this is the thing that I see people focusing on the most. And I would really recommend going back to the beginning of these principles. So you want freedom. And then you start to focus on money because you associate money to freedom. But when you get the money, that just allows you to travel. It allows you, if that's your version of freedom, or to not worry about your house, or to not worry about your kid's college. Focus on that. Focus on getting your kid through college. Focus on those things and how it will feel when your son or daughter walks down that line and they're graduating, and you get that feeling, and then before you know it, the universe just it was always opening to you no matter what, but until your energy is vibrating in the right way, you don't see it. You can't connect to it. Everything is about energy. Everything is about connecting. That's all we're talking about. So you won't be able to see all of the ways that the universe is opening to you, but it's opening to you all the time. Every time you have a desire or something that you want, the universe begins to open for you. But you can't see it as well because you're not quite at the vantage point necessary to realize it. It's not clear. It's like when you're climbing a mountain and you're trying to look at the top from the bottom. And then when you get to the top, it's a totally different perspective. It's very different. It's all still the same. It was all still there. The mountain hasn't changed. The view hasn't changed. Nothing around you has changed. Just the set point of your perspective has changed. So these are the things that I'm seeing, is that we're spreading ourselves too thin in what we want. If you're just the type of person that loves numbers and you want to see your bank account go as high as possible, I can understand that. If there's something specific about money, that you want to focus on money, just make sure that it's not spreading yourself too thin. And only you can evaluate that. Make sure that the focus is the focus. So if my intent and my desire is to manifest a new car, I'm going to focus on manifesting a new car. I'm not going to focus on my bank account. I'm not going to focus on money. Because the money is what will get me there, but not necessarily. Maybe I'll win this car. Maybe somebody will have a car to give away. There's a lot of different ways to find yourself in a new car without the money. But then again, by focusing on the money, on the car, the money may just come, because what you need to get the car will just come. It may come in the form of a check. It may come in the form of a lottery ticket. It may come in the form of, somebody had an extra car, woohoo, here, have a car. These things happen, and they happen for a reason, and they happen through intent, and they happen through connecting and vibrating. So that's my message today. I would love to elucidate on any points that may have been unclear, but I do have the tendency to ramble. So I do have the tendency to talk a little bit too much once I get to talking. Once I get this energy going, sometimes it's a little bit hard to pull it back. These are the techniques through skill I'm getting better at. Just like mountain climbing, I'm under no illusions. I need to gain skill. I need to do it. I need to work with it. I need to practice. So law of attraction is the same way. You can practice. Maybe we can talk about that later, because that's a beautiful topic. Practicing the law of attraction to get to the bigger ones that you want. But we're always learning. I'm always in the mind of a student. Even when I'm teaching, I'm learning. There's always an exchange of energy. If there's no exchange of energy, or you don't feel it, there could be a good chance somebody's trying to take advantage of you. There could be a good chance that somebody is trying to take more than they're trying to give. And I take the position of the sage. I take the lower position. I take the position so I can help lift people up. I don't want to ever feel like I'm haughty, because I'm not. There's no wrong way. There's no leveling up. I don't really understand that. But there is momentum. And we can see the momentum in the universe. We can see the momentum in the experience that's happening outside of our body. And I teach momentum, I teach peace, I teach relaxation. These are the things that I'm really good at, and I really appreciate being able to share with you guys. I've met so many wonderful people from this group. If you look at my Facebook, I'm not doing Facebook Lives on anything else but my own page and this Abraham Hicks Vortex group. I don't want to spread myself too thin, because I'm not advertising. I'm sharing. I want you guys to feel the most authentic Ernest in the most authentic way. Because I have so much love to give. I have so much energy to give. I have so much to share. And then maybe someday, like Lao Tzu, I'll disappear into the mountains after everything I have to give is given. After, the people that I'm working with are now working with other people, and the cycle is continuing. Maybe that's my time to figure out how to vibrate high enough that I can manifest myself out of three-dimensional reality. There's some really interesting things that are possible, and I don't have limits, and I don't want you to have limits. There are no limits. We live in a beautiful, beautiful world. And everything is possible, especially if you can do it from the position of peace, the position of relaxation. So I really love you guys. I wish you guys the best today. Transition well. Pay attention. Check in. Love your life. I like saying it, but it's such a description. Make love to life. And if you're worrying about money, are you making love to life? If you're anxious about what you don't have, are you making love to life? If everything is lack, are you making love to life? I don't think so. Making love to life is making a visceral connection. It's sensual, not sexual. It's sensual. I can touch, I can feel, I can connect. Right now I'm doing it to the steering wheel, which may seem odd, but it has a texture. It has energy. It has a feeling to it that I can work with. That is sensual connection, right? It's a beautiful thing. And I don't do it just to the steering wheel. That would be weird. I do it to my whole life. I make love to my my life in a very passionate way and in a very, very visceral way. And I don't know any other way to live. I have forgotten a lot of those feelings that I don't like. They were there once. Anger was there once. Jealousy was there once. Strong fear was there once. Anxiety was there once. Not anymore. You know, they don't have the momentum to gain, right? They don't have the thought energy to build the momentum of that. You are in the Abraham Hicks Vortex group. So there's a lot of different vortex groups, a lot of different law of attraction groups, and I'm sure they're all super duper fine. But I've just had an energetic connection to this one. I've met some really great people that I love very deeply from this group, and I feel energetically drawn to what has been built here. But yeah, you know, maybe I'll start sharing with other groups as I feel inspired to do so. But right now, I just love you guys that are in this group. Shoot me suggestions if you know other groups that are like this. But again, I'm just here to share, and I love this group because you know, I can share with so many people that seem to really get me. You know, that really seem to you know, that really seem to resonate and connect. So I've met soulmates from this group because we have so many deep energetic connections. And I just did a Facebook Live on soulmates. And I love the teachings of Abraham. Although, if I'm being honest, Asked and It Is Given was way too repetitive. I found that book to be monotonous. Like, it's so full of gems. It's so full of good information, but dang, it says the same thing over and over. So it's a wonderful book, beautiful book, but I really prefer the videos, the question and answer videos that Abraham, you know, they're giving us. You know, they're giving us through Esther. But it's interesting that the more you learn about the teachings of Abraham, the more you also learn that these teachings are similar, if not the same, to every basic culture separated by space and time. They just use different words for saying the same things. Why? Because they're principles of the universe. It's the way change happens. You know, why do hurricanes take the shape that they do? Oh, that's not a good example at this time. Why do flowers take the shape that they do with their geometrical patterns? Because the language of the universe is not mathematics in terms of numbers. There is no such thing as zero. That's a figment of our imagination. We're trying to describe the world in a very rudimentary way. However, geometry is not like that. Geometry can really cross the divide between abstract and the physical universe. I'll talk about all that stuff later. I really love you guys. Thank you very much. I'll end up saying goodbye for the next 45 minutes. If anybody has any questions, please ask more questions. I'll answer them on Facebook Lives. You can, so now, oh, thank you, Jackie. I have a Facebook page that I've made. It's not a group, so I'm allowed to say that in here. The rules in this group is not to advertise another group. But I just made a page, and it's called The Elegant Crane. That's my Chinese name that I was given to by my teacher in my class. And there, it means elegant or unhurried crane. And then the crane is the bird in our Tai Chi, and you can see my bird. And all of my tattoos face me because they're reminders for me. I'm not trying to look cool. I'm trying to remember the freedom that the hawk has as it glides through the sky. And when I do my martial arts, I can see that. You know, I can see the different tattoos that are giving me reminders of how to work with my energy and how to work with the physical universe, so that I can continue to make love to this existence. I'm only here for a little while. I'm gonna make a lot of love. I'm gonna, you know, make a lot of magic, and I'm gonna dance, and I'm gonna play, and I'm gonna laugh, and I'm gonna enjoy every single second of it. There's no time for anything less. Okay? So I really love you guys. Thank you very much for letting me share, and I'll be back.